Hey everyone, it's Tracy, also known as Seven Figure Grammy, back with you to help you make amazing decisions to sell great products on Walmart and make some great money for yourself. So, we're going to kind of continue what we talked about in part two, which was the seller's table and how we use that seller table to inform some of our buying decisions. So we're still on this Lego that we talked about in part two. We know that estimated sales are around 278 a month. And we're going to scroll back to the seller table and talk a little bit more about what we see here and how that can help us to inform our buying decision, our pricing decision, and whether we're going to ship this WFS or seller fulfilled. So part of the information that we need to know about this product is that this product was just on a Black Friday special for Walmart. So they lowered the price to $70. It sold out within minutes. So people all over the country logging on, some of them got lucky, some of them didn't. But if you were able to get them at that $70 price point, that's going to give you a lot more room on how you price this item. This item is normally $120, and that doesn't give you as much room. So people who are priced like up here in this $170 and up, most likely procured this at the $120 full price. The people who are down lower on the table, I would say most likely, unless they like losing money, got this when it was on the Black Friday deal, or they had some other way to discount it when they purchased it. So we can't make assumptions about how people are acquiring product, but we just can know what we know. So we know it's normally 120, but it was on sale for 70. So if let's just say again that I was lucky that I got this for $70. And so if I come up here and I put in $70 as my cost, what is the price point that's going to make me feel good about selling this item? And that answer is going to be different for everyone. I tend to get, especially in Q4, a little more greedy. And I want my ROI to be higher than maybe it is during the summer on toys and products like that, because you just don't have the same kind of velocity. So at $123, I'm making 26. That's really great. But let's say I want to hit that 50% mark. So I want to get as close to 50% as possible. So what is 139? That's a little high. 134, 132. Okay, we're right in there at about 133. So what would happen if I priced my item at $133 against these other sellers? Well, we have to think first of all, like, am I merchant fulfilling or am I sending it in to WFS? And the reason that's an important question is because if you are a WFS seller, you can get the buy box even at a little bit higher price than other people. It's usually about a 5% difference. It's kind of the rule of thumb. But they just give preference to WFS sellers. Now, it doesn't always work that way. You can see on this particular listing, this is what we call buy box suppressed. So it's showing Walmart's normal price and it's showing them out of stock. There is a link here that says available from other sellers. There's also this more seller options, but it doesn't just grab you and you can click add to cart. So the buyer has to do a little bit more work to get to these items. So that's also something for us to think about in terms of, where we want to price this at, and we want to make sure we stay competitive. So we're looking at this at 133 would put us right here between these people here, which would mean if I sent it in, I would have two WFS sellers ahead of me at a lower price. But at 133, I probably would still get the buy box over this person that's at 129, but seller fulfilling the item. So that's good to know that, like, basically, once these other two WFS sellers sell out, then I would be next up in the queue to get the buy box if the buy box was actually active. I also need to look at the quantity that each of these sellers have. So WFS, we have 4 and 49. That's 53 units that I have to basically bank on them selling out so that I can get the buy box. But I also know that even if I have to lower my price to 123, I'm still profitable at over 30%. So it gives me a little room to play with the numbers and just kind of see how fast some of these other sellers start selling out of their product. Seller fulfilled, I have 3, I have 24, I have 50, and then I would be here as well. Because there's no buy box, that means whoever's clicking to see like, oh, where else can I buy? Let me close this so we can click on that. And you will just see it in the same order that we just looked at. So it doesn't give that preference to the WFS seller when there's no buy box. So we see this is sold by this seller, it's fulfilled by Walmart. This one is sold and shipped by someone else. And I don't know how much attention the customer pays to that. So it might be that we have to go through all of these sellers until it gets to us because there is no current buy box. All right, let me pull Marter back up. All right, so we know we're profitable at 123. We'd like to be around 133. 133 would put us right here, which is about 100, a little more than 100 units would have to be sold. And knowing that our estimated sales is 278, that's not too unbelievable for us to think that that might happen. So you can see all these other sellers on this list. We don't have just terribly huge quantities. You've got this one at 72, this one at 46, but most other people are 20 or under or 10 or under. So this is going to go pretty fast, especially the other thing about this particular set is it will be retiring. So knowing it's going to be retiring, it's not going to be sold anywhere else beyond the retirement date. Some of these people that are holding their prices up higher are banking on people still wanting the set that aren't able to get it. And so that's just your choice of how quickly you want to turn your money. We could probably list it around 133 and probably turn that money in 30 days. So we would get back what we spent on the product plus our profit that we could then go and reinvest in additional product. Or if cash flow isn't as big of an issue, we might price it at $249 and we might stay here and just wait for all of these people to buy during the Christmas season. And then come January, when Uncle Joe didn't get the one thing he wanted, he goes and uses his own money and he buys it online. So it's those are just the kind of nuanced decisions that you have to make as you're pricing products and making decisions about how to price them, whether to ship it in to sell, whether to hold it to sell, those types of things. But we have all of the information about who's currently selling right here in Marter, which is wonderful. We also can scroll down and look at buy box history. And that is something that we're going to talk about in the next lesson, which is just kind of icing on the cake for all sellers page here, because it gives us an even more detailed look into what has been happening on the site. So until lesson 4, I will see you later, and I hope this has been helpful to help you make great decisions of what products to buy to sell on Walmart.